So do you like stories? I like stories. I don't like stories with a sad ending. I do like stories with a happy ending. Let me tell you a story that goes from happy to sad to happy. So in one of the last DR10 videos, we did some upgrades to the transmission. We replaced some bearings, everything. Car ran okay, but I've really noticed it kind of got a little worse in some ways. You know, we've redid the shocks and all kinds of stuff. What I've noticed is that I've got a lot of play and a lot of slop in a lot of areas. Now, the kit definitely is nowhere near as solid as the B6.3 kit that I'm using on the breakout chassis back there. Like, it's just solid. And a lot of it has to do with it's just a better kit, and it's also new, so it hasn't been like ran through all the passes for 4 or 5 months and had everything kind of shaky and weakening and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to do some upgrades to this thing. Again, we're going to put some aluminum on, we're going to replace some plastic parts, and we're going to get rid of a lot of this slop, hopefully, and get this thing going faster and straighter. So come over here to the bench here and we'll show you what we got going on. We're going to be doing steering, bell cranks, front hinge pin adapter, knuckles, turnbuckles, all that stuff. I've kind of matched up the manufacturer with the part that it connects to, kind of worked that way with stock levels. Also, I just think that an STRC part would probably fit a better STRC part than mix and matching with Evotech, everything and so on. So got all the part numbers here in front of you if you want to take a look at some of this stuff. It's all pretty much standard stuff that you will find if you do a search on AMain or whatever for DR10 parts. So we've got the entire car torn apart, basically. Got the whole rear done. You can see that everything is super solid now. Just no play at all. There is shims that come inside this rear hub carrier, so I did need all the shims. Replaced the bottom plastic A-arms with brand new plastic ones, and everything is just great. I also got those 1-up extensions on there, a lot better than the 3D printed part I used to use that broke on me a few times. You can see I got those back on there, and we're getting nice downforce and really smooth travel. So we're finally, I think, able to take advantage of that lighter weight shock oil that we put in there fully. As far as install hiccups, about the only thing that I had to do that kind of confused me was, you can see there's 2 spots here for your ball stud. You just put those to the insides, and so far my geometry has matched up. Once we get everything back together, we'll set it down and get everything aligned a little bit more. So now we're ready to move on to the front. You can see I've got everything removed there. We just had to go full bore to get to everything, and we've got the front end here, so we'll be replacing the plastic kit arms with plastic. All this will all be metal. That'll all be gone. The bell crank assembly and all that stuff will all be changed. Servo mounts are going to be changed. Remember, I do use the associated servo horn. Don't use any kind of servo saver or nothing like that. And if I go digging around hard enough, I should find a brass insert as well that I want to put into place too, to have a little bit more front end weight now that we're pulling a lot more power on this car. So we're going to get to work on all this stuff. I'm going to follow the instructions in the associate kit manual to get everything tore apart. So it's really super simple. It's all just swap and make sure that it's all put back together in the proper positions and sequence, so that way it makes everything a little bit smoother. Alright, so wow, massive improvement here. I wish I would have done this sooner. Now, I've always been kind of iffy about using metal because we crash and we really don't know if things are bent or broke. Where we know the plastic usually does not break, it will just kind of wear out like it did in this case. But everything just kind of went at once, and you can see now I've got like no side to side play in there, just very little play coming just from the turnbuckles and the steering. from not being turned on, but just a massive difference overall on the front and the back, you know, from what we had before. So the car should definitely be a lot more predictable and straighter, and be able to kind of tune it and dial it in a little bit better than I have been able to. And man, pretty happy with everything. I got the brass bulkhead insert in there. It's buried inside here, or I would show you that. So that adds a little bit of strength and some rigidity to the front. So overall, you know, the weight and everything feels really good. I think it's just time to slap some tires on this thing, charge up some batteries, and head out to the streets and see what this baby will do. Everything is working out as planned. In fact, I will put the times up here for you, and you can see I ran a 2:45 on this road. It's the fastest time I've ever ran on this road. Usually I would be in like the low 2.5s, and that would be like around high 2.2, 2.3s on the tree. So that's, I just think I just ran probably my fastest run ever. So I've got the car back on the warmers, got the wheels prepped up and everything again. So we're getting those hot, make a couple more runs. I am trying out the 8,000 milliamp China Hobbyline battery. So I haven't stuck the max amps battery in it yet to see what it can do. I wanted to keep the weight a little bit back to the reverse bias, and then we'll put it back up there to see if that makes a whole lot of difference and if I could pick up any more speed. Haven't plugged in and looked at the log or anything yet, or the tune. Everything seems to be really cooking right now. So I'm gonna do one more hit on this battery, pull the log, see what the damage is, and then we'll try to do a couple more. I haven't had to steer this thing or pedal or nothing. It has went dead straight. So getting rid of all of that old plastic and upgrading it to the metal and the new plastic arms, it solved all my problems. The hotter tune and the hotter max amps battery. You saw that it got a little wild, so I still pulled off a 245 at 61 miles per hour. Didn't pull any data. It's getting dark out, road is cold. Working the prep game right now, trying to keep things going, and I'm gonna do one more rip and call it a night. Yep, so that's how last night ended. And if you want to take a look at the car and how she fared, here you go. You can see we've got a crack that I had to epoxy. The body got ruined. We got another body on here. There was a crease in it. I actually ended up going into a drain hole down there when I slid, and it just smashed it in there real good. So not the best, but everything else fared out all right. Nothing's bent. I had to do a little bit of retrimming on the servo and the remote just to make sure everything was going straight. Got a little too greedy, like we all know can happen from time to time. Tires were getting colder, the road was getting colder, and just wanted to get one more run in. I wasn't satisfied with the best runs I've ever had out here, and you see what happened. But that's why we do this. Build, crash, drive, repeat. So all in all, we got pretty lucky. I've done one run out here so far. Wasn't very clean, but we're gonna do another one. Try to get in just a couple clean runs tonight and call it a day. I really just wanted to make sure the car ran good and there wasn't any problems, because I got a list race coming up in like a couple days if it doesn't rain. End of story, right? Nope, wrong. I went out the next morning just to do one more hit, and I noticed that I just kept having to really fight the car really hard, and I kind of looked over it and I'm like, the geometry just does not look right. My toe doesn't look right, my camber doesn't look right, nothing just looks right at all. Going back to the original install when I said everything looked good, well, it didn't. And I don't have a setup station yet. One's on the way. We'll talk about that when it gets here. So I had to make some big adjustments. Kind of glad that I did have that crash, just because if I wouldn't have had that crash, then I would have never put the extra time into the car that it needed it to get it right back to where it was to run the power and the time that I did at our list race yesterday. Take a look at this body. This is the body that I was running, and you can see that there's a huge crease right here in the body from where I hit that storm drain, and just tons of paint and everything else scraped off of here. It's just a mess. Now, my list race body didn't fare any better, because I can tell you the rest of the stories about that. Look at this thing, how messed up it is and gnarly. Just the gnarly crashes that I had yesterday, but they were good crashes. So yesterday's race was really intense. I didn't get any video of it at all, unfortunately. It was a new spot. I was really focused on that, and I was kind of worried about the car because I had only done one good test hit on it, didn't even have my GNSS, didn't know how fast it was going or anything the day of the list race. Got there, I'm number 2. I knew I called out Mark at number 1 just so I could get a lick on the car, because we don't get a whole lot of time to practice before setup, because we just got to go. It's 5 o'clock at night, you know. So everything seemed to be doing okay. The car, I noticed, has a little bit of kind of like a left fade to it, and it still did throughout the entire race, which is why I was it's why I crashed a few times. So I defended my second spot 3 times in a row, won all 3 of those races. Challenge number 1 3 times, lost all 3 of those races. But I went from a 255 to a 245 to the 235 that you saw right there at the beginning. I'll flash it up right here again. Our tree system wasn't working that night, so I really don't know what the actual time was, but I think my last one was like a 226. So I would say that's probably like around a 2.2, somewhere close to that, since it was a little bit lower on the GNSS. So I'll take it. I'm super stoked. Now the car, here's the crashes. So both the crashes that I had were spectacular crashes, and I wish we had video of it, because you know, we have the tree system and the ramps at the end to protect the sensors. So if you hit the ramp, you're automatically disqualified anyway. So I got him going for number 1 guy. Me and him are having a great time together. You know, he's pushing me. I don't really know how hard I was pushing him, even though the races were pretty dang close. And I kept improving each time, you know, just because I was having so much fun. And I thought the first time, I thought that I was gonna make it past before I crossed enough to hit that ramp, and I didn't. And I went end over end, hit nose, slid, whatever. The only thing that happened was the GNSS popped off. Third race, the same thing happened, and this time, since I went a little bit faster and I lined the car up on the exact same spot on the street and everything close to it, I almost made it, but I just hit enough of the edge of the ramp to like barrel roll Dukes of Hazzard style, and the car it was a spectacular crash. I broke body pins, The GNSS flew off. The body got all scraped up and everything, which isn't a big deal. And I lost a wheelie bar. Shout out to Paul and whoever else for finding my wheelie bar wheel and the screw, and I got one bearing inside there still. So that was a pretty amazing feat. But man, it was just such a rough, stressful week. Started out in the 2.6s, 2.7s after doing that diff and bearing change. Was just like, what the heck's going on at the cash days last week? Could not do a thing. The car is just weebly wobbly and all the parts were there was so much play in everything. Got all that stuff switched out, had a great run, crashed, had to redo everything, and I'm glad that crash happened. That was such a bummer when it happened though, man. I was just freaked out, and I know you guys probably would be too. Luckily, the DR10 held up pretty good. The epoxy's working so far. So excited I'm hitting my microphone here. I never would have thought with the way that this week started that a week later I would have ended with my personal best time. So there you go, guys. Hope you'd enjoyed this little story with the happy ending. Let's hope that the rest of them are just as happy. Peace. We'll talk to you later.